Welcome back here. Welcome back. More fun, more Christian teaching. Family parenting, you're in the right place. My name is Imelda Nanziato. Expect a new video every Sunday at 4 p.m. So today's topic is still for the girlies. You're in that single season, but you don't want to feel lonely. Here's some things. I am here to equip you and give you some ways you can be single but not feel lonely. Those two are pretty different. So you're in your single season. How do you thrive in that season? Let me be your big sister. One is discover who you are from the inside. Who has God called you to be? Are you a worship leader? Do you do business? Do you love going out with friends, being outdoors, traveling? All those things go in the discovering yourself. So when you start with things that make you happy, things that bring out that joy, that makes you like smile, brim, like enjoy yourself. So discover the things that you love and invest in those. Be it travel, save up, because what is gonna help you is find your inner skills, find yourself, and find your foot kind of in that season of waiting where everyone is dating, everyone is getting married, but you're still in the funk of being single. And you can honestly not do anything about it, but finding yourself and just enjoying yourself. The things that I really did, I started a small business when I was single. I had just ended this 2-year relationship and I started a business. I was selling liquid soap. So it was more like a drop shipping. So drop shipping is where you don't have the physical products, but you buy them from someone else after you have a customer. So what I would do, I would go to my friends' offices and I'll tell them, hey, I sell liquid soap, toilet blocks, toilet cleaner, and you know those small little shower bars that are usually like in hotels, those ones. So I would tell them about my business, give out my business card, and they would call me and be like, okay, Melda, we need liquid soap at the office. Then I'll go downtown and buy the liquid soap. I had like a supply. I would go and they would give me at the same price and I would make money off of that. And it had picked up so good. I was happy. I was able to take care of different things and kind of not feel lonely because you're chasing a dream. You're ticking off goals and you're able to invest in yourself. And it taught me a lot of financial stewardness in a way of how I manage my finances and how to run a business. So in that season when you're single, invest in the things that are you, that someone just sees something and they're like, that is typically Imelda. And that's what I did. Then the other thing was I connected more to God. I grew closer in my faith. I prayed a lot more. I fasted because there's a different glow to when you love God and you're fully invested in knowing who God is in your life. And for me, just praying and finding people in that area of, oh, we can pray about this without having the burden of, oh, I'm in a relationship or I'm single. I just felt like I am focusing solely on God. And within that time is when I got more clarity about who I should get married to and refocus myself, kind of like rebrand. To me, that was the biggest thing. And I think after I got my life situated out with God and kind of fully connected with God, that's around the same time I found my husband. And it was kind of like a shock. I had fully given my life, my time to God. And then here I am. I find my now husband. And I remember telling God, I thought I was doing this with you for a couple more years, but I haven't got that much time. And clearly God spoke and it's just like, it's okay, you can pursue the relationship. And it's just one of those beautiful things when you can be one-on-one with God. If like you pray, he answers. You pray, he tells you, hold on. It's just in those times you get more clarity and more understanding of who you are. And the other thing I really advise someone who is single not to feel lonely is plug into community. Find people that think like you, that have the same values as you. And what is important about this is once you find these people, it's also okay to find like married couples that can kind of like mentor you and prepare you for that season of when you get into a relationship. It's one of those beautiful things. You see how they handle conflicts, you see how they handle finances, and it gives you a better understanding of what a healthy relationship looks like. for me, I had a friend, she was American and she was married to a Ugandan. What I saw most of how she was a homemaker, like it was amazing. Like you would go to Michelle's house and she was baking something. She was wearing one of those cute aprons, taking care of her kids. And it gave me a better understanding of how you can be a godly woman, pursue business, and still be in a healthy marriage and relationship. So plug yourself into a community, find people that think like you, have the same values, push you to love God more, so that you're not solely focused on, oh, I am single as a pringle. No, you can still be single and thrive. And the other thing for me was finding accountability. You know how sometimes as girls we feel like, oh, everyone around me is dating, everyone is getting married. Where do I fall in this? And sometimes we end up in very unhealthy relationships, or even those that we shouldn't be in because the Lord doesn't want them. Finding the comfort and also knowing that it is okay to just be single. And the other thing that really helped me was knowing that I can be myself without defining my identity through a relationship. And now I had to define myself as a child of God first and have that full package and confidence in who I am, as how God loves me. Because if you do not fully know who you are and what your worth is in Christ, you're most likely going to define yourself according to how long that relationship you may get in is. And be able to invest in your gifts, invest in your calling. Are you called to be a business person, to mentor other people, to be a traveler, or just things like that, a missionary? Find your calling in that and invest. Even in things like reading books that help you understand God better, help you understand you better. Are you more interested in business? Invest in those areas that make you thrive as a person. It could be through seminars, conferences, workshops. Be able to plug into that community and invest in your growth also. And also, one of the things that I wish I had done as a single person, honestly, was invest in my mental health. I think it's rarely talked about in our Christian communities, is mental health. And finding how to thrive mentally helps a lot also in our spiritual walk, because once you know that you're healed from different things, you're growing in different ways, you do not take loss personal, you do not take being single personal and feel like a failure. I think that also can help you in the way you see yourself. Even if you're single, you are not lonely. It's not the end of the road. And it also makes you a better person. You get to thrive better when your mental health is worked on. I think that is one thing that I should have honestly worked on a lot more in those times when I was single. But if you're still single, that is one way to also thrive in your single season. And the other thing is set boundaries. Set boundaries for what you want your next relationship to be like. Now, it may look like I'm not going to hang out with my old friends. I am not going to go to the bar. I'm going to bed at 9. Like simple routines like that can also help you set up boundaries that can define your next relationship or help you get the most out of that relationship. I remember friends recently told me, we're talking about marriage and all the struggles, and she tells me, Imelda, look back to the many people that you have dated, you're most likely going to date the same person. And I looked back, as much as people say, oh, you once date a bad boy and you'll always get a bad boy, something like that. It makes sense. So just knowing and defining yourself and kind of putting up boundaries of what do I want from the next relationship helps you avoid those very many mistakes. And that is built on throughout your time when you're single. Do you want a person who just goes to church, or do you want a person you don't care about their faith? So things like that, defining the boundaries of yourself and of those around you, it usually helps you get the most out of the next relationship you may be in. And one catchy thing, it may be like super goofy, but do not chase godliness. where you're kind of chasing a religious person. Let me give an example. Like, oh, I want a Christian guy who goes to church every Sunday, who, is probably in the choir and does music and all those things. I get it. You're a Christian girl looking for a Christian guy. But once you chase godliness, you're going to be a lot more disappointed than you preparing your heart to pursue someone who wants to grow in their faith. Like, we're all on this journey. Christianity feels like this whole journey. And if you're chasing a person who's just quote unquote godly, you're chasing a person who goes to church, does the things like rule of thumb. Let me tick off this off my to-do box. But preparing yourself to pursue the person who is willing to grow in their faith, because it's a journey. We all grow spiritually at different levels. So preparing yourself for that also means you as a person, you shouldn't be chasing godliness. You shouldn't just be a religious person of, I'm a Christian, I go to church every Sunday. No, you should be able to pray and thrive in your prayer, to be able to read the Bible, to be able to connect with God at a personal level, so that the next relationship finds you on that journey and you're able to both grow together in your relationship. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have some tips, please let me know in the comments. I'm more than happy to hear from you. And all the single girlies, a heart prayer to all of you all. I pray you find your God-desired person and you walk on this glorifying journey of marriage. See you next time.